Supreme Court issues surprising ruling against former President Trump. Before we continue, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more updates. Watergate prosecutors warned that the Supreme Court would shock former President Trump. Former President Donald Trump is optimistic about the Supreme Court's rejection of special counsel Jack Smith's request for an expedited hearing on his request for immunity, according to Watergate prosecutor Nick Ackerman. He says it may be too early. In an editorial in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Mr. Ackerman predicts that the Supreme Court will reject Mr. Trump's appeal to the Federal Appeals Court in Washington, D.C. He recused himself, and Trump's prosecution on criminal charges related to the January 6 riot will continue, allowing him to stand trial in March. As Raw Story reported on Wednesday, January 3, 2024, Trump has claimed immunity from prosecution, arguing that his actions on January 6 were taken in his official capacity as president. To speed up the process, special counsel Jack Smith requested that the case bypass the Court of Appeals and go directly to the Supreme Court. However, the Supreme Court's refusal means the immunity claim will now go to the Court of Appeals, potentially delaying the scheduled March trial, which is part of former President Trump's delay strategy. This is a strategy consistent with that. Despite the setbacks, Ackerman cites his experience with Watergate and argues that Trump's attempts to manipulate the legal system to delay trials are doomed to fail. Mr. Ackerman emphasized that by denying early appeals, the Supreme Court may be showing its distaste for debates over presidential immunity. He submits that the court is aware of recent decisions rejecting immunity claims as follows. Former President Trump's suit against Washington, D.C. Circuit Court in Atlanta and Mark Meadows' similar suit suggest a broad position against immunity from charges of criminal conduct under presidential immunity. On December 1, D.C. Congress rejected Mr. Trump's request for immunity in a civil lawsuit brought by Capitol Police officers and members of Congress, saying the claim was based on his campaign activities and not his official duties. Another court in Atlanta unanimously rejected a similar lawsuit by Mark Meadows, former President Trump's former chief of staff, saying his involvement in a conspiracy to overturn election results was outside the scope of executive power. Ackerman concludes that the Supreme Court's denial of an expedited appeal is justified given the precedent set by recent decisions denying immunity claims. He assumes that Washington, D.C.'s expected rejection of Trump's appeal is to be expected. The Circuit Court will further strengthen the Supreme Court's stance against intervening in presidential immunity debates following oral arguments on January 9. As a result, former President Trump's criminal trial is expected to continue as scheduled in March, dashing hopes for a long delay. In the context of former President Trump's ongoing legal battles, the Supreme Court's decision is expected to influence broader debate over presidential immunity and lay the groundwork for an important chapter in the former president's legal saga. Furthermore, Ackerman emphasizes that the Supreme Court's reluctance to accept Trump's appeal is likely because it wants to avoid getting drawn into political controversy. He argued that courts recognize the seriousness of the allegations surrounding the January 6 riot and may be wary of granting preferential treatment to former presidents, arguing that the criminal process was unfair. He further emphasized the importance of proceeding without delay. This nuanced perspective provides a better understanding of the possible motives behind the Supreme Court's decisions. Thanks for watching till the end. What are your thoughts about this news?